Welcome to LNN News. I'm Carolyn Day Pruitt. Here are this week's top stories. The U.S. Army expects to miss its recruitment goals this year, and the military branch isn't mincing words as to why. November is right around the corner. Know the key dates and deadlines for voting. An event hosted by Petersburg's General Assembly representatives becomes an impromptu town hall, and citizens are not happy. And in sports, we take an in-depth look at Hopewell's historic Myrna Field. Those stories and more when we return after this.
I love being at home. I mean, you do get a lot done. For instance, I just got pre-qualified for a home loan online with BSV. So be a homebody. Visit bsvnet.com to see what you qualify for.
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Keep your home comfortable and quiet with the new energy-efficient Daikin Fit system. Right now at Colonial Plumbing, Heating, and Air, we're offering a $1,000 rebate on any new Daikin Fit HVAC system. Colonial Plumbing, Heating, and Air, service that's revolutionary.
Welcome back to the LNN studio. First, let's take a look at national and state news. The U.S. Army projects that it will miss its 2022 recruitment goals, leaving a gap of tens of thousands of soldiers. Army Chief of Staff James McConville and Secretary of the Army Christine Wormuth released the news jointly last week in a memo outlining why recruitment is so low. According to the memo, a mere 23% of Americans aged 17 to 24 qualify to enlist, and in a post-pandemic labor market, fewer and fewer young people are choosing to do so. But the Army memo went deeper into the issue, outlining the reasons so few meet the standards for recruitment and why many choose not to enlist: health, academic performance, and lack of knowledge and interest in the military. Physical fitness metrics disqualify many young people as the U.S. continues its struggle with the obesity crisis. As for academics, the memo states that preliminary data suggests a 9% decline in performance on the Army Services Vocational Aptitude Battery caused by remote learning during the pandemic. As for choosing a path in the Army, McConville and Wormuth propose that young people have a lack of knowledge about the military, do not identify themselves as soldiers, and do not trust institutions such as the U.S. military. To address the recruitment issues, the U.S. Army is placing full attention on growing its ranks back to a minimum of 460,000 soldiers as quickly as possible while not lowering standards for its new enlists. Some of the strategies proposed include creating a prep course for military service that will help recruits reach fitness and aptitude requirements, increasing enlistment bonuses, allowing recruits to have more say in where they are stationed, funding more marketing, and revising the Army's tattoo policy to allow young people with more tattoos than currently allowed to join. On Wednesday, July 27th, the Federal Reserve announced another increase in interest rates as inflation continues to plague the nation. The rate will go up by 0.75 of a percentage point, landing the rate between 2.25 and 2.5%. July makes the second month in a row that the Fed hiked the rate by 0.75 of a percentage point, but inflation has shown little sign of declining. Despite many economists and analysts raising the alarm that massive inflation was coming after stimulus money was pumped into the economy, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell insisted at the European Central Bank Forum that the incredibly high inflation was, quote, unpredicted. According to the Consumer Price Index, Americans experienced a 9.1% increase in inflation from June 2021 to June 2022. And many are struggling to make ends meet as the cost of daily necessities skyrockets. While Virginians have seen some decline in fuel prices in recent days, the cost of a gallon of gas continues to hover well above where it was a year and a half ago. Food costs also remain elevated, and shoppers' dollars don't stretch as far at the grocery checkout anymore. And while the Fed hopes the rate hike will slow that inflation, it expects additional increases in the near future. For more on these stories and more, check out the LNN Insider. Subscribe by going to lnnusa.com and clicking on the subscribe button at the top of the page. We'll be back with local news after this.
Yes, you can still get haircuts, colors, highlights, waxing services, everything that's going to make you look great right here at the Apothic Company.
Hopper's Malt Shop, the niftiest place in Petersburg. ice cream, candy, footlong hot dogs, burgers, and now introducing the Bopper Blast, a hand-dipped vanilla shake with a blast of candy. Available in over 15 flavors. Bopper's Malt Shop, Old Town Petersburg.
Welcome back. Let's turn now to local news. November may seem like a long ways away as we deal with summer heat and escape to our favorite vacation spots, but it's only 4 months until we begin to prepare for turkey, stuffing, and Black Friday shopping, and before we head to polling places to cast our ballots. Election Day 2022 falls on Tuesday, November 8th, and campaigns are already beginning to kick into gear. This fall, all of Virginia's 11 U.S. representative seats will be on the ticket, alongside numerous local candidates for positions like City Council and School Board. It's important to make note of key dates and deadlines as we get closer to election season. If you need to register to vote or update your voter registration address or other information, the final day to do so is Monday, October 17th. You can register to vote at your local registrar's office or by going to elections.virginia.gov. If you won't be able to vote on November 8th, there are multiple options available to you so that you can still cast your ballot. The first day of early in-person voting will be Friday, September 23rd. Beginning that day, you can cast your vote early by going to your local registrar's office and completing your ballot there like you would on Election Day. If you need to vote absentee by mail, Friday, October 28th is the last day to request that an absentee ballot be sent to you. Your request must be submitted to your registrar's office by 5 p.m. that day. On Saturday, October 29th and Saturday, November 5th, registrar's offices across the Commonwealth will be open for early voting, allowing those who cannot make it to their offices to vote on a weekday to vote early on one of those 2 Saturdays. November 5th will be the final day of early in-person voting for this year's elections, as local registrars and their staff prepare for the following Tuesday. If you have questions about your voter registration status or how early in-person and absentee voting works, contact your city or county voter registrar office, or you can go online to elections.virginia.gov.
And this is the problem. When we speak up, we get ignored. And that needs to stop right here, right now.
A meeting designed to be a forum on the effects of Virginia's new laws in 2022 could not withstand a more pressing issue: the collective complaints of Petersburg citizens. Despite the advertised intent of the event, several residents took the opportunity presented by the forum to speak out about their concerns, frustration, and mistrust of city leadership. On Sunday, July 24th, Councilor Tresca Wilson-Smith hosted a public forum featuring Senator Joe Morrissey and Delegate Kim Taylor. Ward 7 Councilor Arnold Westbrook Jr. was also present in the audience. The meeting was designed to review recent legislation that went into effect in Virginia on July 1st and offer a 30-minute citizen question and answer session at the end. 30 minutes into the meeting, questions from citizens took over the path of the discussion, taking the event in a new direction altogether.
Our city is not going to grow if we're not investing in our children at this age. And nothing that we have said today is really encompassing or focusing on them at that stage. We have talented kids in Petersburg, okay? And I'm sick and tired of the city not thinking that our kids are worthy, okay? We don't need this room just to be used for our city council, and I see the stage all nice and set up for our council meetings. Okay, that's fine, all right? But they can just have meetings somewhere else, because this room is a really nice room, and we don't just need it to be used for council meetings. It can be used for theater.
Talk is good. I like results, okay?
You like what?
Results.
Right.
If we can restructure and rebuild these old town buildings, why can't we go in? Let's look at it as an option. Go in and restructure that Ramada Inn to make it revenue generating for the city. Make it another hotel. Jobs are great, but we must look at what type of jobs are the pharmaceutical company bringing. Look at the statistics, the job market here in Petersburg as well as the surrounding areas. How many people in Petersburg would actually qualify for those pharmaceutical jobs? Yeah. I like to see numbers when we're talking about, even when we're talking about the casino. So when we talk about the pharmaceutical, we got to know, how does it impact us?
we have the citizens here in Petersburg that can proactively prepare themselves for these job opportunities. Talk to our people and encourage them to take advantage of what we have out here for them to, provide for them.
Senator Morrissey and Delegate Taylor both spoke on the direction the meeting took.
We talked about legislation that was passed, and then it pretty quickly devolved into the doings of the city, particularly city council. So what I saw in this town hall forum was a lot of very conscientious citizens kind of letting the city council know, because there were at least two of the members here, we're watching you. We want to know how you're going to be spending our money on services for Petersburg. They particularly focused on the amount of money that might be coming in to the city because of the casino, and as a result of that, how they're going to spend it. I was impressed with the questions.
Well, I think today people were heard, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to serve. I'm here to listen. We have a lot of hurting people in the city, and we have a lot of needs. It's good for me to hear this.
Two citizens spoke out about issues of trust in the current council and how or where funds coming into the city are being spent.
So I don't trust them having the discretionary power to use that money the way they want it.
You have funds that come from the state level, and you have needs that are coming from the grassroots, and they're not being connected.
While many comments were made in appreciation of the efforts by the leaders in attendance, most questions and concerns presented on Sunday focused on what is not being done or is being done wrong in the city of Petersburg, including a lack of transparency inside City Hall, poor city communications with the public, and possible apathy of city leadership towards the people they are elected to serve. With the November election looming, at least 4 Petersburg City Councilors could be in the spotlight to address this underlying current of mistrust and frustration running through the public. We'll be back with more local news in a moment.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sandy Elba.
And I'm Dr. Adam Elba.
We're chiropractors, and we love what we do.
We change lives on a regular basis. We go from pain relief all the way to wellness. We work with the cause of the problem, we help solve the problem, and put your life on a whole different path.
If you're concerned about your health in any way, or you just want to be healthier all the way around, come see us, Chester Family Chiropractic Center.
Today's show is brought to you by our friends at the Cloud Factory, who take a customized approach to their customers. They know not everyone is alike, and neither are their needs. So, the Cloud Factory focuses on what's best for you when it comes to CBD, hemp-based products, vapor nicotine, glassware, and just about anything, providing alternative routes to a healthier you.
Welcome back. After many inquiries from the media and members of the public about the status of Petersburg's emergency fire equipment, Petersburg Fire Chief Tina Watkins finally responded to media inquiries, just not all of them. It remains unclear as to why Chief Watkins chose to only respond to one local television station. However, in that response, the chief said that, quote, "The Petersburg Department of Fire, Rescue, and Emergency Services is operational, with no expected lapse in service. Petersburg has mutual aid firefighting and support agreements with surrounding localities. When assistance is needed by any of these localities to fight fires, aid is always available. The city is in no danger of not being able to respond to emergency needs." End quote. But not everyone agrees with that statement. A source inside the PFD says they are relying too heavily on mutual aid, a dependency that is not guaranteed nor advisable as a day-to-day strategy. Currently, the city of Petersburg does have mutual aid agreements with neighboring localities, not automatic aid. Agreements that offer some support but do not guarantee response, a scenario that recently played out as explained by Petersburg Professional Firefighters Association President James Vick on a previous newscast.
All right, let's make a practical application. Recently we had a storm system that came through, and it started in Richmond, came all the way down through the area. We were requiring mutual aid at that time. What happened in that situation?
As mutual aid was requested, mutual aid from the requested locality was unavailable. So we were unable to get mutual aid that was requested.
And in that particular instance, what did we do when we were addressing that emergency situation?
Other units had to be diverted to different emergency calls.
Were we able to take care of the situation, ultimately?
Fortunately, the situation was not a dire emergency at the time, and it was both incidents going on at the same time did not require much action.
So we got lucky.
Yes, sir, we got lucky.
That instance demonstrates that a strategy of perpetual or long-term reliance on mutual aid places a clear risk on citizens and firefighters inside the city. The chief's response to the television station also included that, quote, the city provides factual information on equipment and repairs, end quote. But questions as to the status of apparatus out of service, expected return to service timetables, and even the length of time units have been out of service continue to go unanswered. Included in her response to the television station, the chief stated, quote, Petersburg currently has 5 engines operational, end quote. LNN confirmed with a source inside the PFD that at least one Petersburg engine is operational in each station, including Engine 2 in service at Station 2, but with its elevated water apparatus non-operational, and a reserve unit in service at Station 4. Chief Watkins' response explained that, quote, supply chain issues on repair parts are a challenge. The city would like to have equipment repaired faster, end quote. Regardless, with the clear absence of a ladder truck inside the city, the current out-of-service status and unreliable operational history of the city's main ladder truck, an inoperable reserve ladder truck, and the uncertainty of immediate mutual aid, the city remains in at least some level of additional risk. Although Chief Watkins began her tenure on January 31st of this year, and at this time neither the chief nor any city councilor has provided a solution as to how, when, or if the solution will be or could be remedied. LNN started initial contact with councilors and Chief Watkins on Monday, July 11th, requesting comment. As of this report, neither the chief nor any councilor have responded to our texts, emails, or phone calls on this topic. Each summer, communities across the country join forces with their local police departments on National Night Out, a nationwide effort dating back to the 1980s to bridge the gap between police officers and the neighborhoods they serve. Celebrating National Night Out on the first Tuesday of August, neighborhoods, churches, and community groups host gatherings where citizens and law enforcement officers can interact and build relationships. The style of event varies from gathering to gathering, but they often take the form of cookouts, block parties, and festivals. This year's National Night Out will be held on Tuesday, August 2nd, and the region is gearing up for the festivities. Prince George, Petersburg, Hopewell, and Chesterfield will all see a flurry of activity for National Night Out. Colonial Heights often celebrates in October, a secondary National Night Out date for some localities in the U.S. To find out where the event closest to you is being held, check your local police department's website or Facebook page. In some locations, it's not too late to sign up your neighborhood, church, or organization to host one of this year's gatherings. We'll have sports and weather in a moment.
Hourglass Realty Group.
Opening the door to your next journey.
A typical day for me is making sure that the residents have their meds on time and also making sure that they have a good day. My name is Felicia Woodley, and I'm a CNA med tech at Dunlop House. No matter what the situation is, we always put the residents here at Dunlop House first. My work is meaningful because they'll come to me and tell me, thanks for that smile that you have on your face. I connect with them because I look at them as one of my family members. Dunlop House, more than a house, it's home.
And now we go to G. Anadipe for sports.
Last Friday was a busy night here for us at Shepherd Stadium as we watched a doubleheader between the Tri-City Chili Peppers and the Winston Tops. Now in Game 1, the Chili Peppers pulled it off, winning 15-6. On Game 2, the Tops were able to overcome, winning 12-4. Now 2 days later, the Marlins overcame a slow start and took on the Chili Peppers, beating them 7-2. Now going 1 out of 3 of their last home games, the Peppers headed down to the Marlins' house, but a change of scenery pretty much resulted in the same. Now the Peppers couldn't reel in the Marlins, losing 11-7. Wednesday night, the Peppers held off the Martinsville Mustangs to a trot, outrunning the Mustangs 13-2. Up next, we play the Peninsula Pilots, and get this, guys, the Boone Bigfoots. No, seriously, that's their name. Here at Shepherd Stadium this weekend. Make sure you guys tune in. Now, for our loved ones in Hopewell, Murder Field's a big deal, but do you know the history? Chad, fill us in.
I'm here with Stefan Kalos, who just gave a presentation about Murder Field's history in Hopewell. What exactly is magical about Murder Field, Stefan?
You know, Chai, it's just sort of the epitome of Hopewell. It's a beautiful place, but it's a rough place. It's an intimidating place, but it's a welcoming place.
When was Murner Field created?
Well, it was a WPA project, Works Progress Administration, during the Great Depression. It started in 1935, the WPA did.
Okay.
And Murner Field was apparently one of the first projects because it was completed and opened in 1936. Hopewell had great teams in the 60s, especially the late 60s, early 70s, early 80s, and into the 90s, and then broke through again in the early 2000s and 2003. Won a couple more state championships in the last 2 and 4 years. So it's never stopped. If you haven't had a chance to see Murner Field, do it. If you haven't had a chance to come to a game, do it. You'll be glad you did. And you want to see good football, great football today, it's the place to be.
All right, well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Thanks for having me, Chai.
From Hopewell, this has been Chai Gallahan reporting for LNN USA.
Now that's it for sports. Back to you, Carolyn Day.
Thanks, G. Now we go to Chai, the weather guy, Gallahan. What's the weekend look like, Chai?
Friday starts off the weekend with plenty of sunshine and a high of 94, although it might feel like 102 according to the heat index. So it's going to be 102. Be ready for showers and thunderstorms after 2 p.m. that continue off and on until 2 a.m. Saturday and Sunday bring more of the same with sunshine and about a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, but with a high near 84 and a low of 73. This means that you can get your outdoor activity fix, but just be prepared with hats, rain jackets, and umbrellas. Be sure to get inside when the lightning starts, though. The week begins with more sunshine and a chance for afternoon showers and storms. Highs in the low 90s and lows in the 70s. Back to you, Carolyn Day.
That's it for this week's newscast, but we'll see you next Thursday for the latest local headlines. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Thanks for watching LNN, News by the People, for the People. Hi, I'm Carolyn Day Pruitt.
And I'm Chai Gallahan.
Major media companies have editorialized reporting and called it news. The free press was never designed to be journalistic interpretation of the facts. LNN USA is committed to reporting facts about issues important to you, but the free press is anything but free.
LNN USA exists to serve our fellow citizens. As a locally owned and operated digital news network, we forego the expensive printing presses, costly production plants, and corporate overhead. Your membership dollars are primarily used to pay local reporters to cover local news. Reporters dedicated to investigative news and features that matter. To do that, we need your support.
Become a member, and you'll receive the LNN Insider Weekly Email, a 40-page magazine packed full of news and features you won't find anywhere else. Membership also includes full access to LNN News broadcast archives, LNN Insider magazine archives, extended interview clips not aired in the weekly broadcasts, and more.
Your membership supports local independent reporting free from corporate and political pressure and agendas. Become an LNN member today by going to lnnusa.com and clicking on the subscribe button at the top of the page.